Simon with toughtrader.com doing the trade review for ES and NQ, and it was really a pretty amazing day. As you can see the charts, we pretty much ended the day straight up on both ES and NQ near the highs of the day, or at the actual highs of the day as I'm looking at the trading dome. It was a good trading day for me. Not my favorite kind of market when it goes straight up, but let's take a look at it. And also I want to cover how to tell when the market sold out from news. You can tell these things and take advantage of them in your trading, right? So before we get started, quickly, past performance is not indicative of future results, right? Please have both a written trade plan and a risk plan. Follow that risk plan. Be aware you can take substantial losses trading futures, and it is not for everybody. Make sure you're qualified and that you can handle the risks. Okay, so jumping right in. First of all, this is what the zones look like as posted to the members last night. I haven't moved them. The only thing we added was the blue line, which represented Globex high and low. So in my trading, if you're not familiar, what I'm trying to do is let the market stretch into the white zones. And from those white zones, what I expect is counter rotation at that area, a pause and counter rotation. And you can see here, we'll start with NQ. We push into the white zone, right? This is the volume point of control from Friday. And you can see from 63.84, we rotate all the way down almost to 63.70. That is a 14-point rotation. That is equivalent to $280 a contract. I did get a short out of this location today that paid me very nicely. Other members in the room did, right? When you have trade location equals edge. Why? That location is important because of market structure, right? And it gives you a very easy way to plan for and anticipate where you're going to place a trade and how you're going to manage risk, right? But there was another side of the coin, and that was the long. So the plan to get long, we had two locations this morning. The first plan was obviously from 63.52.71, and then we added a second location, which was 63.62, was where we were looking to get long on a push back down. That never came, right? Why is that important? We initially pushed in, and so what I was hoping that what the market would do would be that we would have something similar to this. Let me give me 1 second here, and I will have a go-to meeting established, and I can steal their pen to draw with. There we go. Okay, so what I was hoping for was that we would push up, push into the white zone, and push back down, and either find responsive buyers at 63.62 or 63.52. I thought 63.62 for a very important reason. This was the swing low from Friday afternoon. We obviously pushed out, but if you look at the overnight session, and I'm going to bring up the screen from my other computer here real quick. Here we go. And if you look at this, that is Bitcoin. We're going to get rid of Bitcoin for now. And here we are. So what you see, let's see what chart settings I have going here. Let's see, this is NQ, evening session. And let's cut that down to a time frame we can actually use. Let's go to a 15-minute time frame, okay? And that'll be loaded in just 1 second. And you'll see two things that are very, very interesting when that happens. So first of all, let's erase all these lines. I was working for the members in the room earlier. And what you will see is that, first of all, in the overnight session, right, this was the open of the overnight session. Give me just 1 second. Was right here Sunday evening, right? So that put me at a Globex session low at approximately this point right here. Let me get the opening done just so, which was right here. And that put my swing low right there, 63.58.75. So what you'll notice, first of all, is that the majority of the imbalance was on the buy side overnight, right? Secondly, when we did push down, right, even though we pushed down, we attempted to push below what was essentially the low of the opening rotation in Asia, right? And we failed to hold below that. Not only that, but if you look, right, so this is a news event that occurred out of New York City. There was unfortunately a pipe bomb that went off in one of the transit authority stations, right? And you can see here, so this is important. So I want to explain why it's important. When you get a news event, normally what happens with a news event is we would get a nasty bar. I want to point this out. What it would normally look like is a news event would strike and we would lose 10, 20, 30 points pretty quickly in a big, nasty down bar, right? But what do we get instead? Instead, we could barely test the opening print, right? You can see how little sell pressure there was involved, particularly when compared to the buy pressure from earlier in the evening and into the through the Asian session. There just was no sell pressure there. And you can see when we actually did get that news, sell pressure never went negative, right? So now look over here. Look over here when we open up. We get above our London high, right? What this all tells you is if this news, right, when the normal reaction is to get a 20 or 30 point downside rotation off of news, whether it involves Trump, elections, Russians, bombings, you name it, those are the things that have caused the algorithms to come in and cause big rotations down. When you don't get those, you know you're sold out. So this area right here, this is where our white zone is sitting. These are the responsive sellers we were looking for. They were never able to push down more than 50%. This, I'm looking to test into this news event to get a long back to the upside. That never developed. Now, I want to point out something that's very, very important. Someone's going to say, and members in the room asked, well, if you knew, right, if you knew that the market was going to go higher, how come you didn't get long? Okay, so this is really an important question. When you have a trade plan, and my trade plan says to buy rotations back to get long. That is my trade plan. Now, I don't have to buy the low of the day. It can be off the low of the day, but it has to be some kind of counter rotation back to a key location for me to get long, right? I don't buy the high of the day. Why? Most of the time, the market has this two-sided price action going about it, right? I want to say that again. The majority of the time, the market has a two-sided price action of some sort going about it. Today, it did not, right? So I don't buy highs because I don't like getting run over and having to deal with the stop losses. I don't put in massive stop losses onto my trade. And so I need the market to come back to give me good location. I'm looking for sellers to get displaced when they push down, and I'm looking to take advantage of that displacement for a push to the upside. That never developed, right? We shorted in the white zone. All our shorts took place underneath this level, and we simply sat out the upside run because we did not get our long. And, you know, that's one of those things where you go, gosh, I had the right trade plan. All I needed was a pullback today to get the long, and it never happened. And you know what you do in that situation when you're a trader? Instead of going day by day and being a slave to the market, go ask a simple question. What did the market teach me today, and how can I carry that forward? We learn the most from our trading errors, right? But we can also learn when the market doesn't give us what we want, okay? And so let's get to the end of the day. Let's pretend like I had no trades today for a second. Let's say I didn't walk away with a penny from this market, okay? I still won today. Let me tell you why. First of all, I came in with the expectation that the market owes me nothing. Secondly, I knew where I was willing to take risk. Why? I have a trade plan that I draw out every evening after market close, right? And it'll look just the same or similar as yesterday. I will highlight these areas, and these areas will be chosen when it's nice and calm. And I'm pretty confident, actually very confident, that I'll find responsive buyers in these white zones, right? That's why I put them there. I put a lot of work into getting them and making them available to the members, right? And the last piece, I know that even if I don't get a trade on one particular day, or if I quote, I can't miss a trade, but I don't get the opportunity. Let's put it that way. If I don't get the opportunity I'm looking for, I know another one's coming right down the street, and I'm not going to get flustered. I'm not going to allow the market to fluster me, right? So the important lessons from today, I'm going to go back to it one more time. First of all, trade location is important. We use the white zones to get good locations, even in a nut market. In NQ, provided 10 to 15 points, $200 to $300 a contract was certainly doable for almost all the members that took the trade, right? And secondly, the news event, right? When you see a news event and you go, hey, that should bring the market down, and it doesn't, right? Know that the market is sold out. That's exactly what this situation is here. Know that the market is exactly sold out. That's what occurred right here. Market got sold out. There was no sell pressure on that news, and sellers had nowhere left to go, and buyers were forced back to the market. The last piece that I want to leave y'all with today, and I want to cover ES really quickly, just so you know, here's our ES chart. And ES Excuse me, that's NQ. Let's grab ES. There we go. Here's the ES chart. And if you will look, right off the open, we pushed into the white zone, 25, 56, 50, and we immediately roll down towards 25, 54, 50. You couldn't get 2 points. You could get 1.5 points. It's ES. The rotations have been smaller. There's not much you can do. You can see in the morning, the tick was biased to the long side all day long. The other tell was when the tick did go negative, we couldn't break the last swing low, and then we get tick divergence on the next push down for a push higher. Trading is about recognizing the anomalies in the market, recognizing what's different, right? What's different. And then the last piece, I can't stress this enough. Have your trade plan written. Write down what you're going to do beforehand, right? Where your entry, exit, and stop is, and what your catalyst, what your driver is for that trade. Why it's going to affect, why what you believe is going to happen is going to happen. And this does something very, very important, and I stress this with my one-on-one coaching clients all the time. If you write down something, like for example, I expect a large rotation out of the white zone, and I expect first touch in to reject, come back in and fill the gap, and rotate back down to 26.52 to 26.50. That was my trade plan for today. I expected us to test into the white zone, then come back and retest this white zone right here, right? So when I get a tag into the white zone, right, and it rolls down and I can barely get any sell pressure out of the gate and I can't close the gap, I immediately know something's wrong. This is important, guys. You got to look at the market and go, well, gosh, I hope it comes my way. You got to recognize that what you thought should happen doesn't happen. I'm going to say it again. When you think what should happen doesn't happen, right? You've got to clear out of the way and let the market do what it wants. And your only goal should be to align your trades so that they reflect what the market wants, right? And then also realizing that not all your trade ideas will work out. What does it look like when they are working out? What does it look like when they're not working out? So the sellout this morning from the news left the market with a imbalance to the buy side, right? Because you couldn't get enough contracts to get long. Everyone was struggling to get long. They kept having to buy up. Sellers had no power whatsoever, right? We had news. The white zones got traded and held above, right? You can see we held above. We backside tested the white zone. Then we finally pushed at the end of the day. And the last piece, if you'll go back and watch the market preview, right? When we open up, pull this up really. When we open up, and let me pull this over here real quick, inside a prior day's value area, right? The expectation is that we will grind all day. And if you look at this from a 30-minute perspective, that's exactly what the market did. I know it went up. And as I said in yesterday's market preview, just because you're in a prior day's value area and coming to it from underneath does not mean that the market can't go straight up. But what it does mean is that the market will struggle to get all the way through. So now the last piece, what to look for tomorrow, right? So number one, in order to be short, we have to now get below and hold below 26.57. What has to happen before that is we have to get past 26.60 to 26.59. Those are the critical areas now on your chart, right? If you're not trading below 60 to 57, unless you're some kind of top caller and you're trading, right? Or you're looking for a breakout, we open inside range, breakout and trap back in. The short might work back to 26.60, 26.59, but to assume that we're going to bust 60 to 59, get underneath, and then push to recheck up on these lower levels, you get to be clairvoyant or have some type of fundamental edge or have some other type of read that would tell you we were going to push lower, because nothing in this market right now, nothing in this market is telling me that we are short. We are right back to drive, 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 drive. This is NQ. You can see we're closing out at the high of the day here. And you can see on ES, exact same picture. Let me find this for you. There you go. ES, we open near the low, we close near the high. It was just a grindy, really wouldn't want to call it a trend day because we balanced the majority of the day in a tight range. If you can see that we spent the majority of the day between 58 and 52, but buyers finally got their act together at the end of the day, and we closed it out at 26.66, or at least that's where we're trading right now, 26.66, 26.66 and a quarter. So my name is Simon. If you are struggling as a trader, come visit us. I usually am very, very skilled at getting guys from being boom bust traders to being consistent day in, day out traders. And that is very key. Everyone makes money in the market at some point. The key is holding on to that money. And I can't tell you how few people manage to do it. You have to have a written trade plan and a process in order to accomplish that. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. I will see you all in the morning, 8 a.m. I will post the link to the live market preview. Come get an edge, guys. Have a good night.